will now be recorded.
Any doubts from previous topics? In our last session, we discussed about class, method, attributes, objects, and the levels inside the attributes, visibility section, and how do we access any class attributes outside the class. These things we discussed in our previous session. And today we were going to discuss about how do we use import exports in our class and how do we deal with exceptions and what is mean by me keyword and how do we create our whole user defined data types, internal table, work area in our class methods. These things we will discuss today. Before going to the current topic, I just wanted to remind you class is nothing but a template which does not have any real visibility. Example, whatever you can see here, which is a customer. Customer means he may be a business related any activity like a customer means he was doing business with the company. But if anybody asks, show me the customer, that is not possible. That is not, there is no real existence. When you name it like Sanjay, he is a customer, or Karthik, he was a customer, Ramya. Whenever we show a entity object which is real existence and this object which is referring the class properties, then we say that is the object. And the template, what we are referring for an object is a class. Method which describes the functionality of a class. Here, on example, we have given get customer data. Get customer data means it is designed to getting the customer information. The functionality of this method is to get the customer data. In class object-oriented ABAP programming, you can compare with the classical ABAP programming. Methods are nothing but a function modules, which has import, export, source code logic, and exception handling. All the behavior what we seen in normal function modules, same thing we can achieve in methods as well. Attributes are nothing but which are properties of a class. If you consider a class called customer and a method to get the customer data, what are the inputs we use to pass to bring customer information from system? Those inputs are nothing but the attributes of a class. User, order type, customer ID, sales order ID, which are all attributes of this class. And if you see instance, static, constant, every attribute have a visibility section and also a level. Here user order type or belongs to static. The levels of the attribute user and order type is static. And customer ID, sales order ID, which are instance. How our user and order type is static level and why customer ID and sales order ID is a instance. If you go to any sales order creation T code, sales order is created by a business user. when he was creating the sales order, he will enter sold to party, which is nothing but customer ID. And also sales order ID will be generated after sales order was created. And this user, when he was going to create a sales order, he will enter order type, which means one user, he will use single order type. He will create multiple sales order with different customers. Hence, user and order types are static, which are not going to change frequently. And customer ID sales orders are instance level because multiple customers, multiple sales orders are created with different instances. Hence, these attributes, customer ID, sales order ID is instance attribute. You need to create a instance. For user order type, you no need to create an instance because these values never going to change. A single user with the order type, he will create multiple orders. For a better understanding about customer, user, I'll show you one real-time scenario. Garrett is a company where they are manufacturer about the car related parts. Turbocharger is a device inside a car. This device was manufactured by the company Garrett. If a customer means a vehicle owner, he wants this product to be installed in his vehicle. All the vehicle engines will not have turbochargers. If anybody wants, they can install this machine in their vehicle. Also, in recent days, if you observe, by defaultly, a company itself, they are saying our engines are turbocharger engines. There is a huge advantages with this part by installing in the car. Automotive industry people are aware of the advantages of these turbochargers. Garrett is a company, they are manufacturers. Now, who is the customer for Garrett company? Vehicle owner. I'm using a car. I wanted to install this turbocharger in my vehicle. So hence I will be the customer to a Garrett. Now, as a vehicle owner, I wanted to place an order with company. How can I place an order? I need this turbocharger. Then how can I go and place an order with this company? If you click on this vehicle owner, then you will be getting where to buy, distributor details, which means I'll get this product from a distributor, not directly from the Garrett. Garrett is a company, they have distributors location wise. If I choose Asia and country is India, I'll get distributors list. These are the distributors located in our country, India, their address and contact details. If I need this product, I have to approach any one of the distributor. Through the distributor only, I can have the product purchased. Now, if I go to the distributor, then how distributor is giving ordering the product to me? Distributors, they can place an order for me by using a website. There is a website which is Garrett designed especially for distributors to place the order. These distributors, they have a user accounts. They will log in with their user ID and password, and then they will place an order for me. Now, for Garrett, who is the user? Distributor is the user. And for what he was placing an order by giving customer and part details. Customer means for me, he will say like so and so customer need a part. Hence, distributor he will log in into the system. He will provide my details, customer details, and then he will enter the part details so that an order will be placed. Now you can see who is customer. Customer is an entity, and these customers are so many in real time business. Like me, many users, many customers are using cars. I am one of the customer. I need a product to be installed in my machine, in my car. Like this, we have many customers. And who is user? Master distributor is the user. Distributor, he will receive so many customer requests. As I need a part, like me, many other customers also, they need sometimes a new product turbocharger to be installed, or already having a product which is went into some issues, they wanted to replace it, but there is no direct interaction with the Garrett company. As for me, directly I cannot go and place an order. I need to go to the distributor. Distributor is nothing but user, and customer, many customers are there. Like Sanjay is one customer, Karthik is another customer, Ramya is one more customer. They are using a car, they need this turbocharger. Hence, distributor, user, he will place an order in Garrett portal with Garrett company for a item product. Now you can see user means distributor. Distributor is only one person always. Multiple customers, he can place multiple orders. That's where user and order type. Order type is also one order type he will choose while he was placing an order. And user and order type are static because those are not keep on changing. And customer ID, sales order ID, these are getting changed because for different customers, he is going to place an order. Now, to work with the classes, we have two approaches. Locally, you can create a class. Globally, you can create a class. How you can work with the class? Mainly 5 steps are there. Class definition, class implementation, these two meant to class creation. If you are creating a class in SE38 driver program, executable program, then you need to create definition and implementation. These 2 steps are creation of the class. If there is a class which is created in SE24, which means if you are using that class in your program, then you no need to implement these steps. Definition and implementation not required, which means in SE24, if you created any class, and if you are referring that class, you no need to go with this definition implementation because these two are for creation of the class. After this, the remaining 3 steps are common, like creating the object reference and create instance, accessing the class component using the object reference. Sanjay wanted to place an order, or he needs to access customer information. Like he wanted to see how many orders he was placed. Then he will use this method and then attributes. To use these attributes, he needs to refer first. Object reference means you need to create a object reference Sanjay, and then you need to assign memory, and after that only your object can access class components. If you look object oriented wise the concept, it is always confused. Better understanding purpose, correlate with a one real time scenarios. Hence, it will be very easy object-oriented programming. Now, we will go and create a class, and how do we work with this import export, where we will use this import exports inside the class methods we will discuss. As well as you need to remember methods, we are dealing with the methods. In methods we have importing, exporting and exception handling. So you need to compare with the topic what we are talking now today with the function model, hence it will be understandable. Let me get into system and create a program. The program I'm going to create in SE38, and the class I'm going to create is a local class. It is not global class. I'm not using SE24. I'm going to create a class which is GCL customer, and by using this class, I'll be getting customer information from database tables. Let me log in into SAP system. Provide a meaningful name. Import, export. Click on create. Program to understand, import and export. Type is executable. Click on save. Save as local object. Now, for your better understanding, I'll create a class to perform arithmetic calculations, and then I'll perform some arithmetic operation by using that class. Class followed by your class name, definition, end class. End class is not visible. So this is used to create class. We are creating a class which is GCL ARTH, and second one implementation, Pretty Printer. These two steps are for creation of the class. And what is there inside your class? Visibility section first, public section, and I am going to create a static attribute. Static attribute will be created with class data keyword. And this is instance attribute. and I'm going to create a method as well. Methods will be created with methods keyword. Let me create it first and then I'll explain you. To perform arithmetic calculations, I need two input parameters. Exporting is result. When you check, you will get an error because implementation is not happened. We cannot create a class without any implementation. You have to implement. What we have created, we created a two attributes. One is, this is static attribute because user is going to perform arithmetic calculation. One user can perform multiple arithmetic calculations. This is function. So function is nothing but to identify. This is instance attribute. If you assume there is a calculator with a person hand, what he will do? He will perform division operation by using the calculator, right? User is same. A single user, he was using the calculator and division operation. He is performing a division operation by using the calculator. He will be giving different values. At different instances, he will provide different values. Sometimes he will enter 4 by 2. Sometimes he will enter 6 by 8. Operations which is going to change. Sometimes he will perform addition operation, sometimes he will perform subtraction operation, but user is same. Hence, this is a static attribute and this is a instance attribute. Function is a instance attribute and you have a method. One method I am going to create and remaining method I will ask you to create it. You will create division to perform division operation. What I need two input parameters as like function module. Function module, you need to provide input, output, right? So this is input for the method I underscore n1, I underscore n2, and a result will come here. But implementation has to be happened inside this class implementation. Method followed by your division end method. So this is called implementation. Inside this, you can write your logic. If I underscore n1 is not initial, and if try and try. So try and try, which is related to exception handling. I'll tell you this e underscore result equal to I underscore n1 divided by I underscore n2. Catch cx underscore root. What I am doing here, if input entered, then we need to perform this result operation. In a case, if input is not provided, n1 value was blank. In that case, I wanted to trigger a message. So we were performing division operation. If input value n1 is entered, then it was going to inside logic to perform the result. Okay, in that case, n1 value only given, n2 was not provided. Hence, 1 by 0 is infinity. It's a going to a dumper, division error. In that case, what will happen? This cx root is a exception class SAP created. This exception class will trigger that exception what is system raised, and it won't go for a dump. After once it is captured, we can write our message and then we can trigger saying that a division error occurred. For example, if I underscore n1 is blank, we will see this example, this one later. So this is our class implementation. We have created class now. This is class definition and this is class implementation. Now I wanted to access this class ZCL outside. This is class implementation. Now I wanted to access this outside the class. Parameters p underscore n1 type I. I need to provide inputs to my class. N2 type I. Function type C. Data res type I. These are my declarations. Now create object reference. Data user type ref to our class name ZCL. Now start of selection event. I am going to access this static attribute. How can we access static attribute? Static attribute will be accessed with class double arrow followed by your attribute name. If let's say this is user my ID, and if so inside this we are going to access the class attributes. Now create instance, create object, user. Now memory allocated to the object which we create referred. Now actual user was created. User function. Let's say if user function is division. User is your object and you are referring class attribute which is instance attribute. Function is a instant attribute. You are accessing instance attribute. If user hyphen function equal to what is user entered in the input screen. Now call your method, call method. What is the method name? Division. How you can access method? With object reference. And for this you need to export. What you need to export? I underscore n1, I underscore n2. And from the class method you need to import. What you need to import? E underscore result. So input will be given from your p underscore n1, p underscore n2, p underscore n1, and this is p underscore n2. And result will be captured into res data object. Pretty print, save, check, activate. After that, write res. Now execute. So it is asking us to enter inputs and function is division. So 4 by 2 is 2. Now if you go and see what it is implemented inside, we created a class. Class has public section. Public section, we created one static attribute, one instance attribute. Class hyphen data, when you use it is a static attribute. And static attributes can be accessed directly with the class. Class double arrow followed by your static attribute. And instance attribute. To access instance attribute of a class, you need to create a object reference for that class. After creating the object reference, you need to create instance. To access instance attribute inside a class, you have to create instance. Instance will be created with create object. After creating the instance, now you can access your class attribute, which is nothing but instance attribute function with a single arrow. User single arrow function, which is division. Now value division is passed to your attribute function. What we are checking, if the function is division, which is mean by whatever user entered value is same, hence you are calling the method also you are calling, because this is also a instance method. When you create method with methods, it's a instance method. Now You can call your method by using object reference. Object is user, division, you are passing your inputs and getting the result. You can place a breakpoint through start of selection and then observe how the screen flow is going. Execute 6, 3 and function the division operation. Execute. If I click on user, so if you click on user, you can see user is initial, means it is referred with the class GCL_ARTH, but memory is not assigned for this data object. User is a data object which is referring class. When you are referring data object of class, it will be created but no memory is allocated. Now you are calling one of the attribute inside a class. Inside the class, you have an attribute called user. Now this attribute you are calling by using the class double arrow. User is a static attribute. Static attributes you can directly call with the double arrow. And I am passing username for this attribute. What I am checking, if the attribute value is user and I am passing as user, both are matched, then I am allowing to create the object. Now you can see user was created, memory is allocated, which has attributes. Function is one attribute, user is another attribute. And you can see the difference. Function is an instance attribute and the user is a static attribute. Now we will be passing value to instance attribute by creating the instance after memory assignment. Now you can see function value is division, value which we just passed. What we are checking, if the instance value is what user entered in the selection, which is division, then go inside the method F5. What we are checking here, if input value is entered, then go inside and then perform this division operation. I underscore n1 by I underscore n2, which is nothing but E underscore result is 2. E underscore result, this is the importing parameter here. It will come value to res as like function model concept F5. If I passing value as 0, I am not giving value to p underscore n2. Now execute. F5, it is going inside the method. Now n1 is having value, it is going inside. N1 value is 6 and n2 value we are not entered anything. Now it is 0. 1 by 0 is infinity. But it is not going to any dump. You can see here CXSY 0 divide occurred, an exception is triggered. Now you can pass the message instead of going for a dump. Division error. If I commented this code, try, end try and catch. If I commented this code, now see what will happen. Save, check, activate. I am executing. giving value 4 and function is division. I'm not giving value p underscore enter, execute. If you observe here, this is a short term. System is unable to process your request. It triggered and dump saying that there is a exception. There is a issue occurred. The exception is CXXY 0 divided, which is a standard exception. This exception was triggered. If you are wanted to stop this behavior, not to execute and capture that exception, you can use CX root. CX root is SAP provided class. If you use this class, any exception which is because of the division error or any other error, every error can be captured into this class. For that, you need to use try and try. How do we handle exceptions in a class is by using try, end try, and catch. With these keywords, exceptions are handled. Now activate. What we observed here, we created a class and we created static instance attribute, and then we have accessed this class from outside. Now the class is able to access from outside with the class attributes, static and instance attribute. For static attribute, you are going to call directly. For instance attribute, you need to create an object reference. And importing, exporting are the inputs and output for methods. Methods are similar like function model. You need to pass your inputs and logic will be performed inside the method and you will be getting a result. Method will be called with a statement called call method. Function models will be called with a statement called call function. After that, you need to export. Import means it is importing from your program. You are exporting values to method, vice versa, as like function model. And steps, creation of the class implementation, and object reference, creating the instance, and this is called a final step, accessing class attribute, class components using object reference. So you are accessing class components, which means function method division by using the object reference user. I am making a program as commented. I'll give you a task on this same, like I have performed on arithmetic calculations. So you need to work for a customer data. Create a class to get customer data. This is your task. So you need to write a program to get the customer data, and based on the customer data, you need to display information. Create instance attribute and static attribute. So instance attribute here, user ID, user you will create, instance attribute, customer ID, customer name, and static attribute is user. And after this, create method get customer data. Use this one as static, and country and customer name. You need to get the country and customer name details from KNA1 table. For that, create two instance attribute and one static attribute. Static attribute is customer ID, and create a method get customer data. For get customer data, what is the importing parameter? Importing parameter is customer ID. Based on the customer ID, you need to get results into your exporting parameter. Exporting parameter is country and customer name. It's a simple task. You need to create a class. Create class gcust gcl underscore cust data. So create a class with instance attribute country and customer name, and static attribute customer ID, and create a method also. For this method, input customer ID. Okay, you need to provide a customer ID and logic inside this customer master data, which is nothing but your select query. Select a single land one name. What is this? Customer country. Country means land one. Name means name one. From KNA1 into table, not into table, into create two variables LV country, LV name, customer name, where Punar customer number equal to your importing parameter customer ID. I underscore customer ID. So this is your logic. And once you get the data, use the right keyword to display LV country, LV name. You need to create a class, customer data, and instance attributes are country and name. Static attribute is customer ID. And you need to create a method get customer data. For this, importing parameter is customer ID and exporting is country and customer name, which means you need to provide input as customer ID. Based on the input, get the customer country name information from KNA1 table. Once you have the data, display this information into output. This is your task. So if you perform this task, you will be able to understand how do we work with the static attribute, instance attribute, and how can we create methods and pass data from outside the class. Outside the class is nothing but After two steps, whatever you are doing, declarations section, right? Declarations, create the object and reference, creating instance. This is outside the class. Only class definition, class implementation, which is creation of the class. And whatever you do, which is outside of the class, declarations and then accessing the class and class components, instance creation, this is outside the class. Try to achieve this. If not works or if you're facing any issues, let me know so that I'll explain you tomorrow. Any doubts so far today?
Hello, sir. What is a function module?
So you haven't attended function module classes. Okay, I'll ask for a weekend session. I'll explain in that.
Okay.
Um, and are the DDIC topics done as we move to class? I mean, OOPS ABAP, or is it covered again after the OOPS concepts?
So in DDIC, mostly we used to learn how do we create a table and structure. Hopefully we have seen that, right? So that is enough.
Okay, and there were like views and all in the
We have a
syllabus.
topic on CDS views, that is we are going to discuss, and the views whatever we have, those are obsolete views. DB or whatever you see in the data dictionary, that is not required. So we have a topic CDS views that we will discuss. That is the views we are using nowadays.
Okay.
Any other doubts? Okay then.